This is my favorite guitar pedal, and I keep it in a little backpack. It's my Boss Chorus Ensemble. It's like what glitter would sound like. You showed me that picture. It was it was on the inside of a guitar pedal. It had a bunch of cats, and it said, "This is how guitar pedals work." And
it said like how guitar pedals actually work.
And there were cats inside.
Some internet cats.
Yeah,
playing. A box.
Yeah, playing music, that's just how these work. I got this guitar at the Guitar Emporium in Louisville, Kentucky, and this guitar was kind of the one that made me want to write, make my head sing, was just getting this baritone guitar and kind of falling in love with how evil it sounded. And I was like, this guitar sounds how I feel. It just had all the darkness I needed.
What songs were recorded on that?
The first song we technically recorded would have been Party Drugs, which we recorded Party Drugs here, the guitar for that here in this room. Guitar tone is like something that I realized was, with all my favorite music, like something I appreciated just as much as lyrics and vocals. And to me, it's the things a song has to have lyrics and vocals that don't cheese me out, and same with guitar tones, and that's what keeps me listening. And I also just, I feel different. There's so many different emotions that I feel when I hear so many different guitar tones and from some of my favorite bands, and it's definitely important. I think something not to look over. I play a lot of guitar in the dining room, so it's got a real. It's really loud in there, and it just kind of bounces. It's like a square room, and it just bounces off the walls, and we recorded pretty much the whole record at this warehouse in Nashville called Club Roar, this warehouse studio. It's a real big space, so I would be playing here, and then I'd get down there, and the guitar sounds would get so big. And so I kind of wanted to recreate some of what I had made here. I was like, well, I want some of those really up close guitar sounds, so a lot of like I Wanna Love You, and like certain that's one that was done here. And I think sometimes I'd go down there and record stuff and then be down there for 2 weeks and be like, you know what, I'm gonna try that track at the house.
That's an awesome track. That gets a lot of radio play, even in St. Louis.
Sweet.
There's a college radio station that plays that all the time.
I have to put the capo on the 7th fret to get it to be like a normal guitar, which is just goofy, but I like playing it on other songs. I don't know, there's some stuff I just like having it on, I guess. And then it's like... I basically stand in this room and play guitar at that volume all day long and never not have it be really loud in here. But
so you're living on this bus called the Bluegrass Breakdown.
Yeah.
Which is a famous tour bus.
Yeah, it was owned by Bill Monroe and Kitty Wells.
Kitty Wells.
Lonzo and Oscar, a bunch of
Ernest
people.
Tubb, I
Ernest
believe.
Tubb, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was just a 50s bus. It was real old fun bus. You know, I wanted to play music, so I've kind of forced my way into the family band and was like, you guys gotta let me do this. But I spent a lot of my time just obsessing over music videos on MTV and like watching all my favorite bands and being like, that's what I want to do. But then being like, well, this is going out and playing music and this will help me. And I mean, since I was 7 or 8 years old, like since I was a little kid, it's always just been like, this is what I'm going to do. This is it. I'm just working towards, you know, I have to play music forever because I couldn't imagine being happy doing anything else.
Totally. That's kind of all you knew, I guess.
Yeah, and it's all I could do. I mean, I probably couldn't get a job at like Arby's, you know, because like I didn't.
They would probably hire you in a heartbeat.
I'm a homeschool high school dropout, so I mean, I've literally I'm like a circus, you know, I'm like a carny. It's like I'm always joking that we're the traveling circus. That's a picture I took when I was a kid. Them on the bus. My dad driving.
The Bluegrass Breakdown.
And that's my sister Amanda.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And as a kid, all my friends were much older, and you know, I had like the cool like older girls who would take me out and do stuff like that. But I traveled so much that like a lot of even those friendships never like it was interesting. Like now, like it's just all music scene dudes in their 30s. It's pretty much everyone I know. Everyone I know is just like they're part of the circus, I guess. This is the guitar graveyard where they kind of go to die, but maybe if we want to, you know, we always talk about, it's always like, well, come up here and fix one of these guys. This is the Predator, which is Jesse's. I just like the name of that one. PV Predator. This is my first guitar, and I spray painted it pink, glitter. Teenage girl stuff. And all my guitars are in here, pretty much all of them. This one here was my dad's engagement ring to my mom. It's a 60s Gibson that he bought at a pawn shop. So this is the only guitar I toured with for like 4 or 5 years, and then I kind of decided I needed more than one old guitar. I guess I was just worried about losing it or something too. You want my dog to sing for you?
Oh, absolutely.
In the pines where the sun never shines, and you shiver when the cold wind blows. Good boy.
Oh my gosh.
12-string.
Oh yeah.
Dan Electro. Love the 90s, dude. Love this guy.
The tone's
Got
not
that
right.
song up that Pat Sweany won.
Yeah. This is a Hank Williams cover?
Yeah, it's me
awesome.
10 years ago. And so we're doing a duet of Rockin' Chair Money with Pat Sweany.
This is awesome. So you're like 15 here?
Yeah. So
How old was Pat?
I don't know. Pat's kind of forever young, somehow magically.
How have you guys not released this?
I made a bunch of copies of it and put it up on the internet on CD Baby, and like I made them all by hand, like cut them all out and sold them like that, and
Every once
that's
in a while
why
there's
it's up.
one on eBay.
Yeah, but it's up. Yeah, here's Pat's verse.
From here to there. Baby stepped out while I was gone. Now she don't get my rocking chair. 'Cause I love to rock.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, rock.
It's funny.
Oh, baby, rock.
We did that over one street over from here. A house that my parents were renting a house over there, and we recorded this in the basement over there, and Pat just came over one evening and we set up and did it.
How'd you meet Patrick?
I guess he played every Wednesday at the Zephyr for quite some time, and that was kind of the really cool thing to go to in town, and I'm pretty sure I met him through just going there. As a kid, I was definitely into his music. And he's such a talented dude, though, you know, it's cool to... There's definitely a lot of stuff coming out of Northeast Ohio, but I've always really liked his songwriting and his guitar playing. We were talking earlier, there's a small music scene, but they, you know, it's like everybody knows. It's like everybody knows each other, but they're probably going to stay in their house and work and recluse, and then they come out every once in a while, and you're like, who is that guy? Like, especially here in Kent, everybody's more friendly, and I feel like that opens up to more of the music scene too, is other people willing to just play music with other people, and it's not as difficult to you know, it's not uncommon to look over and see like a guitar and a mandolin and a harmonica on the street, you know. It's like just and people who don't know each other or something. It's like, oh hey, you have a mandolin, I have a guitar. Let's
do this.
You see two people stopping on the street, showing each other seeing if they know the same tunes, and
That's awesome.
I think that's part of it too. I started collecting owls, and then other people started buying me owls, and then it got really out of hand, and it's my Hooters are everywhere.
That is the quote of the interview, I think.
My Hooters are everywhere.
It seems like people that like owls like really like owls.
You know, like that one. His name is Frederick. His name is Matthew. That used to belong to my grandpa. A lot of them are like gifts and stuff, though, too. So I don't know. I have sentimental value tied to items. It's called hoarding.
Hooter Hoarding.
Hooter Hoarding. That's
It's like a new trend. We can start that hashtag.
Oh, man. That dude there, actually, Jesse got me. He made that for me for Valentine's Day one year, and it does the like this switch here is the distortion, so like, and then this one goes to this pedal, and that dude here the delay, so it goes to the delay and the octave, so I can turn them both on at once if I want. But and then this is like the amps, goes to the amps tremolo. And then the top one's the reverb. So that's my little sparkly pink Valentine's Day box.
Your husband, Jesse, repairs old vintage tube amps. How is that impacting your electric guitar sounds on the record? Did you guys use a lot of those amps?
He knows what I'm thinking of before, you know, if I don't know exactly what it is, you know, he knows what kind of sounds I like, and he knows what I'm into, and then if I'm looking for a particular sound, I can be like, you know, like, it kind of, I can describe it to him, and he's like, you're talking about this, you know, and he just like pulls this guy out. It's kind of like I can kind of be like, you know what, there's a little too much high end, like, can you help me bring it, you know, and it's like he can kind of adjust things, which is, I imagine I'm spoiled with it.
I bought this Ampex mixer and put phantom power and polarity switches and whatnot on it. So that was, when I got it, it was broken, but it's kind of a classic piece of gear. Like, I'm sure a lot of jazz stuff was done with those. Then this is another piece of gear I have. It's a rack that was probably out of the guts of like some, I don't know, broadcast board, but I put the controls on it, and it's a bunch of, get one out here. It's a bunch of old API 312 mic preamps. So definitely these were used on the record a ton. Mostly on the drums, some on the guitars. Here it is, little amp bench.
Where the tube magic happens.
Yeah, I guess so. Bunch of broken stuff, you know.
Nice.
I think part of fixing stuff's like hoarding a little bit. This is probably next on the list. And I haven't seen anybody with these, but it came with like the old, like,
Nice.
you know, architectural sized schematics. These are like some old, these are called like an ADM 700 series channel from Detroit at some point in the 60s, but intend to fix those up at some point, you know.
Scott Avett painted that, and so that's those two paintings over there are ones of his, and actually kind of, I don't know, around that time, I guess when I was touring with him and stuff, was we were working on that, and to be specific, I had bought some acrylic paint, or he had, so I could write this and make it look like blood. And then I had fun doing that, and then I kind of just kept drawing like folk art blood forever on into my adulthood. And other than that, I'd never even wanted to paint anything, and now I painted this horrible painting of me, which I like. I like things that look horrible, so it's exactly what I saw in my head, if that makes my head sound like a horrible place. I painted that, and it's just I don't know, it's just everything. I just find everything I can around the house and stick it together, and it's crazy art, crazy folk art, but it's, I don't know, I'm always it's weird, I've been really personal about, like, visual expression, like, really, and this is kind of, 2014 has kind of been the year where I've kind of put that out there, too, because I was always kind of secretive about, like painting and stuff. It was, like, secret paintings, and I didn't want people to read too much into my thoughts. I don't know, it's like people read into music in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable, and they're usually not right, I guess. And then like someone will be like, oh, it sounds like she's really influenced by this or by that, and then you're not, and you're like, I don't want to be misunderstood. And then, but it's almost like with art, and like when people do that with like visual art, and you get misunderstood, or you get understood in some sort of way, you're like, get out of my brain, you know. It's like, I guess with music it almost can be a little less literal, but when you're visualizing something, it is what it is, as Honey Boo Boo would say, right? It is what it is.
Did you just quote Honey Boo Boo?
I think I accidentally did.
When you were starting to play rock clubs and all these younger kids started coming out and they were being really excited about your music, was that like, what's happening? Was it strange being like not coming from that background?
It's interesting. I love meeting
Yeah.
people that come to the shows, and especially people who are like my age or younger. And sometimes I'll meet people and they'll have like, you know, a real little kid who's a fan, and I'm like, well, it's cool. You let him listen to me, you know. Like, I don't want to say anything inappropriate, but it's I don't know. It's interesting, I guess. I find it. I just don't. I have a really different mindset than a lot of other people because of the way that I was raised. Because I'm always really curious about like everyone's like backgrounds and like what makes them like things and where they come up from. You know, since mine was so unconventional. Standing in the sun, I would like I have. Standing in the sun, standing in the sun, standing in the sun, standing in the sun. I know I can't change your ways. Standing in the sun, standing in the sun, by talking with you every day. Standing in the sun, standing in the sun, standing in the sun, standing in the sun. I would like to see you live. Standing in the sun, standing in the sun, not survive but really live. Standing in the sun, 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 standing in the sun. Acoustic version of that.